Hi guys, today we're building Bomberman app and that is it really. So all I've got here is a Maven project with FXGL 0.2.7, which is the latest. And basic settings for an FXGL app. And currently we haven't got anything, so that is everything that we've got so far. And I'll see what we can deal with this in this particular video. Possibly you would like to have a player, some bomb objects, and some like walls that could blow up potentially. And that should do it for this particular video. So I'll first create an int factory, which will create all of the entity objects for this particular game. Let's do empty. Actually, 0 rather better. I'm just creating directories that will need to load a level text levels. Zero txt, so essentially a level 0. Let's have, well, for a demo, 10 items, 10 by 10 grid. Let's do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's a 10 by 10 grid, 0 meaning no objects, no entities. And this is why we supply this character as the empty character, saying if it's 0, don't do anything, skip to the next character. Let's put W for walls. Again, this is just demo, so I'm just placing things randomly. So we've got walls. What else we need? Well, that'll do for now. And we'll just spawn our player right here. I think it should take position. And then after having defined this kind of signature, right, I should be able to apply entity producer for character W. So we first create a method that produces a game entity given x and y, which is the position of the entity in the grid, and then we add an annotation with the character, which is the one that we want to be parsed as. So basically, when the factory finds, or the parser finds this character, it will call the method with this annotation value. Probably need to define width and height. So tile size, let's do 80. We can reduce that later if we want to. The view is going to be just a default rectangle because I don't want to load any assets at the moment because I haven't generated them yet. Yeah, that should do for now. So now in our initialized game, if we create a text level parser, supply our entity factory, probably want to retain the reference to that. And this is where we pass the name of the file, which is levels 0txt. Since it's a text level parser, it automatically searches the file under assets text. Hence, we don't need to put the rest of it, just that. Once we've parsed the level, we can set the level to the game world. Let's give it a go. Right, so that's what we have essentially in the file. So I have a wall block here and a few other blocks as well. What we need now is a player. So we'll just put another method in there, which will give us a new player. I suppose we could use the same signature. In fact, I'll just copy and paste that because it's going to be exactly the same, except for the color. Your rectangle as in blue for the player. Again, we'll probably want to retain the reference. We could add the player directly to the game world. It doesn't really matter. That seems like a sort of clear option, so that the level is gets set as a single call to game world. So that's our player, which is blue. Now we need to have a way of controlling that player. So if we create a new package for controls, yeah, I suppose I'll just add those things. Move right, left, up, down. Eventually, we might want to use some sort of pathfinding, possibly turn the whole thing into an A-star grid. But for now, I'm going to use to move them basically the whole tile at a time, which is 80 pixels. So we'll first have, actually let's position component. This is where this thing is, gets called when the control is added to the entity. So we'll obtain reference to the position component of that entity, which is player, right here. Entities get position of this entity. Doesn't really matter whichever way you call it. Either you do that, or which is a static method, or just call entity get component unsafe. If we go to the source of that, it's exactly the same thing. So move right will be position translate x. That's minus, move up also minus. Now we need to bind those to our input. I suppose I could do input mapping, but I'll do actions because they're, I think in this case will be more clear on action began. Let's move left. We need to have control reference. So we probably want to add player control as soon as we create the player, and just pass it into the Fluent API, and that will take care of it. Once we've created the player, we want to get the control as soon as possible. Player, get a control unsafe because we know it will contain the control. W, A, S, and D. W is up. Left is A, S is down. Let's run this. So that's right, down, left, and up. So there is no collision, there's no grid-based checking because there is no grid yet. So we'll just continue with this. We'll need to be able to spawn some sort of explosive thingy, bomb. There we go. Get inputs. Spawn bomb. Actually, place bomb might be better. So let's bind it to F. Right, in order to do that, we still need to have something like this again, pretty much. We won't have player control, and we want the bomb to be red. What we need is, what is it that we need? Okay, world at entity. Right, we don't have access to our factory because it is an instance rather than static object. But we can obtain reference to it directly. So public, entity factory. There we go. And we can call FXGL get app cast. There are two versions. Get app returns game application as the superclass. Get app cast downcasts the game application down to your type, which is in our case Bomberman app. It's factory new bomb at where we are basically. Get grid X. It's getting too long. Let's do that. first, let's get this out of the way. Get rid X, cell size is that. Change to Y. This will give us the bomb, and we'll spawn the bomb right here. So I've just split the statements. You could have had everything in one go, but this is more readable, I think. Get world, add entity. Yeah, this basically spawns the bomb. So place the bomb. What else? Once we've placed the bomb, it should explode after a certain while and destroy the walls they're near. So we need to create bomb control. So method called explode, which will take the items around it and remove them if they're removable. Considering that all the walls that we have, all the entities that we have in the game right now are explodable, can be exploded into bits, we can pretty much take an entity. Right, FXGL, get that, get world, get entities in range. That is probably the best query method that we can use. And the selection is actually, for that we'll need to have bounding boxes. So we'll need to add this as well. So that method change basically tells the view to generate bounding box based on the view. And shall we put cell size? So we get game world. We take entities in the range, and then we call range on the bounding box of the bomb itself. So the get entity in this case will return the bomb. And range is limited by this to the left, and actually that's width and height, isn't it? Yeah, so to the left and to the right, and to basically the top and bottom limits or margins will be these values will be used at those to get a selection rectangle, and everything that fits into that rectangle will be given as a stream of elements, and for each such element we call remove from world. Right, it should explode by itself though, so we need a timer. And we need a timer when actually should be able to do just that in player control. So this is where we added the entity to the world. This might be a good time to spawn a timer. Run once. Run after, say, 2 seconds. It's a bit too much, I think. Yeah, it removes quite a lot of objects. So if we reduce this to half of that, so it basically should take this, yeah, which is what I wanted. And as you can see, you can basically adjust this. Because in the original Bomberman, I think the size, the radius of the bomb increased as you leveled up or picked up some power-ups. So that's what you can use to essentially increase the radius of the bomb. I'm just going to leave this here, but I'll probably come back to that after a while. So if you wanted, you could change this. Potentially, if we supply the radius right here, new bomb control, and send radius in. So we don't actually need this one. This being the default. Again, this will have to be replaced by, I know, level of the player or whatever it is that you're basing your radius of the bomb on. Possibly some power-ups that will be added later in the game. Also, we could limit the number of bombs you can place, which would also change as you level up. Actually, interesting thing, just that I've just noticed, when you explode the thing, this also gives you the bomb itself. So you actually, with this, also remove the bomb itself, because you're not actually removing the bomb by calling remove from world directly. So yeah, just keep that in mind if you want to change the behavior in the future. So I've placed one bomb and I cannot place the second one until the first one explodes. Right, let's just add a power up and that will be the end of this tutorial. Control power up, right, factory. Yeah, so basically whenever you want to create a new entity, new type, spawn something on the screen, it is best to isolate it in a class, and factory, so entity factory class is probably the best place. You can put your spawning code in. New power up. Since it is just a single power up, but there might be more based on types. I'm not going to create types just yet, but eventually we'll probably need something like a subtype component so that we can distinguish between power up that is a bomb that increases the number of bombs that you can have, and power up that increases the radius of a bomb, for example. Let's put color yellow for power up. I don't remember when the power-ups spawn. I think when you destroy walls. Yeah, that's probably it. So let's destroy a wall and probably need some events. Yeah. Yeah, we can either, there are essentially two ways you can do this. You either create an event called world destroyed event, you pass in the wall entity, and then you handle it here using the event bus, or you call this directly. And since that is probably slightly shorter, I'm going to use this one on wall destroyed. Right. Yeah, we have to create entity type so we can then check what kind of entity it is. But since we only destroy walls, I'm going to skip that part. Entity types. So I'm just going to call upcast and narrowcast it to app. So I'm just going to call this on every entity because everything we have now is a pretty much a wall. On wall destroyed. Let's do random. So that's pretty much 50-50% chance. We take the position of the wall and spawn the power up. Similar to this. That will do that. Now once we pick up those power-ups, we've added the bounding box, haven't we? Yes. Now we need to add our, we'll still require types there, right? Okay, so let's do that. Shouldn't take long. Entity type, actually that should be an enum. For each such type, you will create an enum element. Potentially, just call it entity type because that is kind of the easiest way to determine what type you're going to use for your entities. We have player, we have wall, bomb, and power up. That's power up. What we currently need is just a power up and player type. So we can do collision detection on them or automate the collision detection. Right, so in our physics, get physics world, add collision handler, new collision handler, when collision began. I don't want to hide the variable called player, so I'm just going to call it PL. Well, first of all, power up destroy. What else? We need to increase the number of bombs a player can spawn. Max bombs. Increase max bombs. Player control. Increase max bombs. Yeah, that's pretty much it. We're going to destroy it, so the collision won't happen again. That should be it. So let's destroy that. These are the power-ups. That was interesting. Right, I need to have collidable component. New player with collidable component. So without the collidable component, they are basically invisible to the physics world. So let's destroy those things again. So I've picked up the power-ups, so I should now be able to place 4 bombs. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that was interesting. Better control 52. I think I know what happened, because I placed bombs very close. The one that exploded the other made the other become destroyed from the game world, while this still tried to access that particular bomb, which no longer was accessible. So what we need to make sure is when we explode, we don't pick up items with type bomb. So we now have actually types, so we don't need to worry about those. Might as well do this. So when we explode, get entities in range. Yes, and then let's just do a filter. Wait, what? No, it's a list. Stream filter. We only want entities of, so we need to obtain type of that is type wall. So anything that gets past here is a wall, and we know that's a wall. There's also a method to do a query, get entities by type, but then I also need to have entities in range. Yeah, no, that's the easiest one, the easiest solution in this particular case. Yep, that should work. So what we're basically saying is that bombs do not explode each other. Yeah, and that is why the bomb itself does not explode, because it is a type bomb, and we did not explicitly specify that, which this is exactly why I pointed out early on. So what we want is do that, but after we've done the query. So we first remove all of the walls that need to be exploded, and finally we explode the bomb itself, or rather just remove from oil. Actually, I do not need to stay away from the bomb because I should not explode. So I've collected those, now I should be able to place 4 bombs. Yay. So yeah, the power-up thing works. Right, that was it for this tutorial. I might do some more on this particular game or any other game demo. Also, feel free to fork this and add your own stuff to it, which would be great fun. Thanks for watching.